So in South Africa, there's always a revelation and something new. We learn every day. And this is, listen, I'm going to take you guys to school. Listen to this. Listen to this. So according to the Minister of Transport, Minister Barbara Creasy, Uti, the reason why there is taxi violence, now listen carefully, come closer. The reason why there is taxi violence, it's because taxi owners are in debt. And they are struggling to repay their loans. And that's why they now get violent and seek routes illegally, because the root cause of it is debt. They're in debt. I'm gonna leave it to you.
Yeah, to quantum, Mablerh. Have you seen the prices of quantums? It's like $1 million and above.
It's expensive.
No ways.
I promise you.
I didn't know that.
A quantum costs $1 million and above. It's so expensive.
So I'm asking, guys. Is this the reason why there's been taxi violence? Because of the indebtedness? B?
I don't see the the correlation between the two. But one thing I know is that the reason why there's a lot of crime also of the double cab is because they steal the engine of double cabs to put into the taxi, right? But I'm still trying to figure out, man. So how do you, dating? How does it now come together with the violence?
Well, I imagine some routes are lucrative.
Yes.
So a popular route has a lot more people. You are assured a full taxi for that trip. From this trip you have this much money, and then you can furnish that debt in this way.
Okay.
I think.
Let me say something. I've been around the taxi industry all my life. I've seen it. I've seen the wars that they have. I've seen. No, I have not. Lord protect me from certain things. But one thing that I've seen in South Africa is the fact that the taxi industry is like the last born of the government.
Yes.
The last born gets to do whatever they want. The last born doesn't get to pay tax. The last born can just block a route in the morning and go, nobody's doing anything because I'm unhappy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I feel that we've left this industry unregulated for way too long.
Yeah.
That we are never going to fix it. And now we are looking at some case studies which it's dead. I just think that it's the unregulation that's in the industry that's allowing everybody to run amok.
Yes.
Yeah, I believe that, because if you regulate it, you're able to get a way that makes sure that the taxi drivers are compliant in some way. And especially like if you can't afford a R1 million car, then you can't afford a R1 million car. You regulate it that way so that you know that the entry point for you is non-existent, because you can't afford to pay back this amount of money. So it's got nothing to do with them being in debt because they owe so much on their taxis, but because it's so unregulated that they've just done whatever they've wanted. I've got a small story from being a taxi driver for one day. I drove a taxi from Grahamstown to Port Elizabeth, and then I went to go to the rank so that I can get a return trip. So it's long distance. And then they bumped me way, because I was the first one there, and then they bumped me all the way back of the line. And then they said, no, you're going to take another route because these people need to fill up a taxi that's going to Grahamstown first before you. Only because I wasn't known, one. Two, because, there are people that are bigger than others in that taxi rank. And then I had to drive a taxi from Fort Beaufort and then go to Grahamstown. So I went past Grahamstown to Fort Beaufort, then came back to Grahamstown.
You see, it's a problem. Maybe you tell us. Do you think the minister is right? Do you think that maybe kune blind spot esingayiboni? Shout out to Brati. Maybe kune blind spot esingayiboni thina. Maybe people are in debt and therefore they're trying to repay their debt. Or it could be what we are saying. It's just that everybody's running amok. Yeah, but this violence actually existed way before there were so many taxes. You know? So I don't think that we could attribute it to this now.
Asingakhohliswa asingatshelwa manga abantu mabakhetha ukukhohlakala by building a business model to a certain degree that doesn't make sense. Abantu nje barana i-industry ngomona yini kona lokho dot1 wona loyo bayikhethela ukuba lento ebayiyo labantu labo akekho umuntu obaphoxayo. And one other thing, what I hate about the taxi industry for a fact is the fact that no one can tell ukuthi how much is it worth. Is it 4 billion USD or is it 40 billion USD? Akekho umuntu owaziyo, because they operate not from good faith. Labantu labo bona bayalayeka shame mangabe babulawa isikoleti ingathi singabaceda bafinya.
Batung. Like the violence so early in the morning, buddy.
B, you wanted to share something actually.
No, you know, this makes sense now because in Mpumalanga, Gauteng and Limpopo, right, there have been incidences where private motorists have been intimidated by taxi drivers for giving lifts to hijackers. I mean, not hijackers, to hitchhikers, right? And I know that you could even get your car impounded by a taxi driver if you're just going to pick up your cousin. No, let's meet up by the corner there, you know, by opposite what and what. Oh, jiggy, hey, give me.
So
the
it
keys.
is the greed.
I think it is.
They're not even regulated properly. They don't follow the rules, in my opinion, because buyers laula and they feel like they're also entitled to contribute. Everyone that's walking on the road belongs to them. No other mode of transport should be used other than theirs. They are the biggest foodies in the country. All right. I stopped using the taxi, I'm using the bus because the violence and how they treat their passengers, the disrespect, and a lot of all the other things they have towards their passengers. Right, as whatever that's happening, they brought it onto themselves. Thank you.
The animosity.
Morning, guys. Please tell me who's not in debt, and then tell me if you are in debt, are you allowed to act like a taxi driver, not respect the laws and do as you please? Baba Chris does not know what she's talking about. I agree with Mablerh. The taxi industry was left for far too long without being regulated. And like right now, if you're going to try and regulate it now, it's too late.
It is definitely too late. It's too late. That's what I'm saying. But you know what? Unfortunately, we are here. This is what we have to deal with now because there's no other way. There's no other way.
One, I would say, akekho clever ngekho ku-taxi industry. Ayekho inhlobo yotsotsi ngekho ku-taxi industry. That is why kunezimpi kangaka. Akekho ufuna ukutshelwa umunye. Number two, i-taxi industry was not formalized. It was failed when government was failed when he wanted to formalize the taxi industry. The reason is because the taxi industry, that's where people clean their money, if you understand what I mean. It's not because of they are in debt, the way that I see it. From my personal point of view, that's what it is.
Because when taxis are stolen, the vehicle when recovered is always only but a shell. We pay your claim and your debt is wiped. The insurance fraud by taxis is bad.
Wow. So wait, okay. let's dumb it down. You're saying they take the taxi, they remove the organs of the taxi.
Yeah.
They take the figure.
And it's recovered.
Wow, guys, zini.
And then you are paid your claim in full and you can get another tax.
So how many, it'd be interesting to find out how many times they do that.
If this person says it's rife, that means it happens all the time.
So for in a year, you can do twice a year. You know what? I need another payout. Let me just... Wow.
The minister is spot on because at the end of the month, you have to pay a huge amount of money for that taxi. You have to have something left for you and your family. So, yeah, I think what they're trying to do, mabayenza izinto ezillegal, ukuthi bakhona ukuthi bacover a debt and also have more that's left for them. So the minister is spot on.
Joseph, are you sure?
You know, when you started, the first thing I heard or that came into mind was how out of touch the minister is. Hey, was waiting them sitting no mama. Hey, banemali labantu. And they can afford to pay for their taxes. Inkinga yabo nje ukuthi abafuni ukuzwana, and that is why they are always fighting over roots. One wants just to be richer than the other. Basically, that is what I see. I mean, sinemigwaqo eminingi that can work kahle if they wanted to work together. But hey, yeah. But leyo ukuthi bayakolota, hayi shame sisi. Uyabasukela. Hey, waze wayithinta emsileni logogo bazombonisa labo baba.
And can it be? I remember when I was growing up, the kids that had fathers who were taxi owners, they were living la vida loca. They were living soft.
And everybody knew, no. Their dad owns they own like a couple of taxis. They've got money.
So later,
no, I strongly believe that Barbara is just justifying nonsense. Because again, in the end of the day, you decide to buy a car because you want to be mobile. You buy a taxi because you want to earn a source of income. You buy a bus because you also want to do the same. If your bus is not generating you income, you sell it because you can't pay it back. So it's same with the taxi. If you can't afford it, sell it and then get out of the business.
That is true.
I don't think it's debt. I don't think it's debt because I know someone who's in the taxi business. The association literally gets new cars almost every week. It's not a question of debt. It's greed. It's greed. And because, as Upila Sandi said, the ones that are not as known, they are then going to get bullied, kutata amarus, and so on. It's about the unregulation and the greed. It's not debt. Those people don't owe anything. They don't owe anybody. They make sure they pay because a majority of them, when they go buy a car, they could easily put down a deposit of 400,000 rand. And I think that's on a diesel one, 400,000. So guys.
So most of the taxis that you see on the route, unless the taxi is brand new, they don't owe any bank. The taxi owners have the capability and ability to pay off their taxis in 5 years. What causes these taxi violence and everything, it's because people are fighting for routes that don't belong to them. Take, for example, when Mall of Africa opened, that route already belonged to a certain taxi association. But another taxi association saw that, no man, there's a mall being built, so it's certain things. It's got nothing to do with debt. Most of the taxi owners actually buy their taxis cash from other people. They buy pre-owned taxis. So the minister, the violence is because and all of those things.
Mm-hmm. I also don't subscribe to the fact that the violence that we see within the taxi industry is caused by debt. That's just hallucination. People just looking for a scapegoat. Because the people that normally conduct this kind of violence is the drivers, is people that literally do the driving. Those guys I don't think those guys are privy to financials of the business or how much these guys are just employed as far as I'm concerned. They're just employed to drive the taxi on a daily basis. The people that actually know what's going on in as far as the business is concerned are not on the street. So I beg to differ. I don't think the violence that we see is caused by debt. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on in the taxi industry, brother.
That is true.
Bayazilawula labo bantu. Taxi industry iyekiwe for isikhathi eside kakhulu. Bazilawula, bawozilakhe, they bully abantu endleleni, babully abo driver bama private cars. Akusukuse KZN kuphela nala. We've seen ama video asethembisa around bayehlisa abantu emotweni, abantu abaliftanayo bayabehlisa bayabakhipha. So asisikolodo nje, ukhohlakala nje kwalabantu basile futhi isikolodo si right sibabulala.
Taxi industry, there's no debt in the taxi industry. These people are just greedy. These people are just greedy. Kunabantu esibaziyo thina abashonela ubala uyangithola because labantu bafuna ukudla umsebenzi wabanye abantu. Labo bantu abana ikoloto nix labantu. Mawabheka imishado yalabantu laba. Mawabheka imishado yalabantu ingoba imali ihlala emakamereni. So abana ikoloto labantu laba amaplayer. Inkohlakalo nokuba greedy. Dango.